A former executive at Cisco Systems and current owner of Puma Springs Vineyards in Healdsburg, Tony Crabb worked with local businesses, education, and government leaders to create Sonoma County Career Technical Education Foundation. The CTE Foundation, which helps align education and industry to provide relevant educational opportunities for students and strengthen economic development, has raised over $1.5 million in 3 years to support programs in middle schools, high schools, and at the Santa Rosa Junior College. His continuing passion and commitment to this effort is an incredible demonstration of the impact that an individual can have on education. It is our pleasure to welcome Tony Crabb to the ieSonoma stage.
Well, thank you. I have to say thank you very much to Ryan. I think I've got hope in the future with seeing you up there talking like that. So I'm going to give you a little story about the CTE Foundation, a little bit of background about the why and how we started it, and then what we're currently doing. So let me go back to 2010, which is where this story starts. And if you may remember, back in that time period, we had really high unemployment in the county. And what we were hearing from the local business people was that they had job openings, even in a high unemployment situation. And what they were telling us was that the candidates coming out of the educational system at whatever level didn't have the technical or soft skills that they were looking for. And this sort of goes back to what Dr. Ramirez was saying was soft skills or something, was that give me the candidates with the soft skills, I'll teach them the technical skills that they need. So they're a very, very important message, and I think it's sort of, there's a theme going on this morning, and I'm hearing that. So the other thing that was going on was that we had a situation that high school graduates coming or trying to get into the college system, the vast majority did not qualify to actually get into a four-year university, let alone be accepted. So we had a whole series of things going on. But basically we had a skills gap challenge with people coming out of the education system at different levels. With that sort of as the challenge, there were a couple of things going on in Sonoma County specifically that sort of set the scene for how we would deal with this. One, we had a task force working on the workforce development needs of the county. But there was sort of a general lack of understanding about how best to approach that. But we had people looking at the problem, so there was a group of people engaged in trying to solve this problem. The other thing that was going on at that time, the Economic Development Board had come out with a report that outlined where the jobs were going to be in the county over the next 10 years through 2020. And they identified 5 different career pathways, if you like, that they wanted or said where the good jobs were going to be. So we had a roadmap. And then the other thing, which is really critical and I think somewhat different in Sonoma County, the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors had a goal of being Sonoma County being the healthiest county in the state by 2020. And they come up with this initiative called the Cradle to Career Initiative. And one of the strategies they wanted to use was education as a tool to improve health. So we had sort of some elements going on that really sort of set the scene. There we go. So how do we get from defining the problem to coming up with a solution? And I'm going to start with a little bit of background here. So you have to understand that we're a cat family. And I was once told that I should have a slide of kittens up here because everyone loves kittens. But one night over dinner, I was talking to my wife, who's a very wise woman, by the way, about what I was seeing. And she said, oh, it's really simple. You need to shake the towel bowl if you're trying to herd cats. Give them an incentive. So this led to a meeting over coffee in 2011 with our own Stephen Jackson and Dan Blake, scraps of paper, drinking coffee. We came up with an idea, and that was to form an incentive program based on competitive education grants that we would use going out to the schools. So the other element that made this possible, and I'm going to give a big shout out to Dr. Steve Harrington, because he allowed us to experiment with the system by doing something novel and untested. So we worked on that idea. It took us a little while to come up with something that we thought might work. But in 2012, we formed a committee advised fund at the Community Foundation of Sonoma County as a vehicle for doing what we wanted to do. The following year, in 2013, things started coming together. So we were very lucky in that the John Jordan Foundation basically gave us a grant to play with this very novel and untested idea. And I don't know if she's here somewhere, I saw her earlier. There she is. So Lisa Schaffner was instrumental in being the advocate of that and getting the initial seed money, we call it angel investment, to actually launch this whole program. And happy birthday, Lisa, as well. The other thing that happened on the county side was that we had two supervisors. It was Efren Corrillo and then Supervisor Mike McGuire, who's now our state senator, were very interested and passionate about education. And what they did, they basically talked the Board of Supervisors into coming up with a matching grant for the John Jordan Foundation to give us a 5-year sort of window of funding that we could go play with. And without that, I don't think we'd have got going. So here we were, beginning of 2013, we had some money. We went out to the schools and we said, here's a proposal. We have a grant application, fill in the grant application, and if you meet a certain set of criteria, we'll give you some money. And we got 8 applications, 6 of which were approved, and basically we got 5 new STEM-related courses in the county in that first year. And then the following year, we became official. We got approval from the IRS to be a 501c3, and we hired really an outstanding executive director, Kathy Goodacre, who's also here. And without her, we wouldn't have got where we are today. So it's been a team effort all the way along. So what are we trying to do? It's very simple. We're trying to align education and industry to strengthen economic development and student achievement. So a little bit about our approach. So the first thing is the CT Foundation is pretty unique in the state. We haven't found anyone else or any other county that's doing anything like it. But what it does, it brings education, government, and industry together to talk about what we're doing, and it's for the benefit of all our students, the community, and the economy locally. The foundation provides seed money to incentivize schools to start, expand, and enhance CTE programs that align with the economic and workforce needs of the county. And those are the ones that are identified, those 5 career tracks that are identified by the EDB. So the CTE Foundation provides a public-private vehicle that is complementary to state funding and encourages industry representation to engage in education, which is really unusual, in course development, program participation, and workplace learning. We allow a low-risk experimentation in the schools, and I'm going to repeat that. We allow the schools to experiment and try things because we provide a 3-year funding stream that provides for teacher salaries, classroom supplies, and equipment in the classroom. So it allows the schools to be inventive. And if you hadn't applied for a grant yet, do so. And then the other thing we're doing is we're in close contact with the EDB, so we're always looking at where the next change in economic development is going to happen and where the jobs are going to be. So, what have we been able to do so far? So we've given out $1.34 million in grants since we started. We've given out $450,000 this year alone. And that's been spread between the middle schools, the high schools, and the Santa Rosa JC. We've been funded 66 programs, 43 of them are STEM, another theme. We've got over 3,000 students engaged in programs that we funded, and we're in 12 high schools in 8 school districts. Thank you.